Welcome to the Ladies Talk Show. This is your host, Leah Richheimer. We have a lot of questions to get through. Don't forget, info@ladiestalkshow.com. Send us your questions and we will do our best to get them answered quick. Okay, go ahead. What's the question?
Okay, a lot of questions coming in. Gitsy's
Okay.
asking, my husband comes home from work very hyperactive some days and says things he thinks are funny but can be quite hurtful to me. I've tried all the communication tricks to discuss it with him, but he just thinks it's funny. Any ideas?
So here's the thing. I don't know how you're treating him, so it's a little hard to answer the question sort of lopsided because I'm just looking at his bad behavior. It could be that, at other times when you're sitting at the Shabbos table, you say something cutting about him, like, yeah, my husband doesn't, he wouldn't know. Someone asked Shiloh, my husband wouldn't know the answer. Maybe you're cutting him down all the time and chipping away at his self-esteem. And so this is his way of getting back at you. I could be totally off, but I'm just saying without hearing both sides of the thing, I have to look at, I'm answering this question in a vacuum as if what a mean and bad husband, when usually there's stuff that brings out the best in people and stuff that brings out the worst in people. So for somehow you're either bringing out the worst in your husband, or your husband actually has bad character trait, and is the worst of this is that he's not listening to you when you tell him how it hurts you. So I'm totally with you. I'm just having you look at all the angles, because we're not into blame. We're into sort of figuring out what's going on so we can make things better. So in this situation, if you have talked to him and he still thinks it's funny and still thinks it's funny, maybe when you hear his car pull up the driveway, go lock yourself in the bathroom. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna protect yourself? That's kind of a joke, but also kind of like, if he's coming in with, maybe he was kicked by his boss all day long. The thing, the boss kicks the guy and the guy comes home and kicks the dog. If you don't have a dog, maybe you're it. Hush for all. So the point is that you need to protect yourself from this. And hopefully it's not horrible abuse. Hopefully it's just annoying and unpleasant. But then you really do need to sit down and think about a way to communicate to him in the way that he really gets it, because he ain't getting it now. So that might mean, figuring out, doing introspection, first of all, to think of what you could be doing to bring out the worst in him, if that is the case. And if you really have done honest work and are thinking, no, Leah, it really is. I don't think I mean to him. I don't think, there's nothing I would think that would source him doing that. I think he's just oblivious. So then you need to sit down and think about a way how you can communicate to it in a way he can really hear. The best way to do that is to look back in your life when you had some kind of a thing going on in your marriage or whatever, and it was hard and it was complicated, whatever, and you went back and fixed it. So look to your successes in communication and double down on those, whatever it was. Oh, that's true. When he kept slamming the front door, and it really bothered me and it shook me up, and every time he did it, whatever, and so kept shaking me up. And what I did is I told him, I sat him down and we had a 3-hour conversation, and he stopped slamming the door. Or I just put a Post-it on the door that said, please don't slam the door, and that worked. So look to your successes and double down on those and use that to help solve this problem. But the bottom line is to do the first introspection and then planning a communication with him. Good luck with it. Okay, what you got, Gayla?
Wow, it's such a good answer, and I feel like it hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
Okay, Toby's asking, sometimes it's hard to get past being offended by my husband and forgive him easily because I'm conflicted. If I forgive him easily, he won't know the impact it had on me. But I also understand that I don't want to create distance between us. I could use some advice.
Wow, that's fantastic. Boy, these are very similar questions-ish, So, okay, so this one, the difference between, it's the difference between forgiveness, mevater, and being forgiving, and communication. It's very, very crucial to understand the difference between those two, because they are completely separate things. If you are working on being a forgiving person, which is the very, very great secret to success and joy and happiness in life. Okay. If you're working on that and you want to forgive him, it's fine to forgive even when you don't feel like it. Remember, forgiveness is an action, not a feeling. I'm going to say it again. Forgiveness is an action, not a feeling. Okay. So you don't have to well up inside of you. Okay, forgive you for saying that mean thing. No, you forgive, but then it needs to be followed up with a communication, not as in blaming or defending, but in a genuine heart-to-heart conversation of saying, I forgive you for doing it, but I also want to, see if we can have a conversation so won't happen again. I'm sure you're open to that, right? And it's like, yeah, I'm open to, having that conversation. And then you're talking about, this, you said this is how you did it, and you pick apart the event. But again, you're doing it from a place of forgiveness, and the incident is behind. What you're doing now is you're planning for the future so it won't happen again. Is that clear? Was I clear on that, Gila?
Yeah, I
Yeah, you
understand.
got it? Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, go ahead. What else?
Okay, Tasha's asking, this is my second marriage, and my husband is always speaking badly about his ex-wife in front of our kids. I think it's so damaging, but he doesn't agree and won't stop. How can I convince him?
So whose kids are they?
I
It's
think it's
our
his
kids.
kids, sorry. Yeah, his
Oh,
kids.
it's his kids. So he's bad mouthing their mother.
Their mother.
Oof. Well, any case, it's bad, but that's the worst. If it was doing it in front of her kids, or it was doing it of their together kids, that's also bad. But the worst is to do it in front of their mother. So for this one, if he,
It's not about doing it in front of their mother. It's about it's in front of, yeah, in front of the mother of their kids together.
right, in other words, if it was in front of her children, and this lady who they don't know, he's talking about, it was just
Right,
not
right,
good.
right.
If it's their joint kids, now they're feeling like, see, I've got a better mother than you, whatever. And if it's in front of, but again, all of this is lashon hara. If it's his kids, then it's ruining their relationship with their mother. It's ruining their relationship with their mother, and it's ruining their relationship with him. And what, as a wife, you can say, it hurts my feelings that I don't want you to do it, and if he doesn't agree, then that you're stuck. But if you can bring lots of reasons why, that will help you with this case. So for this case, you can say, every single time a bad word about your ex-wife comes out of your mouth, you're accomplishing two things. You are robbing your children of a mother, which is usher deraisa. I say it very seriously. Secondly, you are robbing your children of a father, because they can never be close to you because you have stolen their mother from them. So whatever you think you're doing, and you're pointing out, well, my ex-wife, was mean, or my ex-wife was talked too much, or my ex-wife never let me get a word in edgewise, whatever you think you're accomplishing by teaching them chinuch about how the proper way to behave is, whatever is motivating you, and it's probably revenge, which is usher deraisa, whatever you're doing is going to backfire you, and you will not be close to your children when they turn 21 or 23 or 26, whatever, and they wake up, and or now they're so dependent on you, perhaps, unless it's older kids, but they're going to leave you. They're going to be distant from you. This is every time, you've got a certain closeness to a child, and every time you say something bad about their mother, you're snipping a little string until there's going to be nothing left. And you can threaten like this, because what he's doing is usher. It's forbidden. So it
So,
may
Leah,
be,
it's the wife's job to actually say this to her husband.
that's what I was just getting to. Thank you. Yeah. So the issue is that it's very, very, it may not be necessary for you to be this harsh and this strong, and in a way, in a sense, mean, even though there is an inyan in Klal Yisrael of giving techacha, which is rebuke, and how important rebuke is in the keeping somebody, fulfilling their potential and bringing out the best in somebody. Is rebuke is, it is a tool, but few people in this world can hear rebuke any longer, least of all a husband and a wife and a kids, and it's very hard with rebuke, so you have to do it very, very gingerly. But this is something to be very, very, In other words, you've already had a conversation with him and he hasn't listened to, I don't think that's a good idea. Well, I think it's a good idea. But if you show him the, the downside and the way you might do that in the softest manner possible, again, make sure you're both well fed, both well rested. You spent a month complimenting him on every aspect of his life and made him feel good and built him up. And, you've been doing everything in the Masorah right so he can actually hear you. Okay. After you've got to that point, you might say something like, I'm really not sure what to do because I know you carry a lot of anger and a lot of resentment towards your wife. No, I don't, so you have to be careful how you say, but you can say, well, you may not carry that resentment, but it really, it every time you open your mouth against your wife, it shows. So my advice, I'm going to give you my 2 cents. You can take it or you can leave it. But my 2 cents would be that I'm really worried that you're speaking ill of your ex-wife will make your children mad at you for taking their mother away. And secondly, they'll be less close to you. I could be wrong, but I'm just putting that for your consideration so that maybe you might see that there's some truth to what I'm saying and you'll just be a little bit more careful. Thank you. Anyway, would you like some salad or would you want a steak? I've got cooked here. You know what I mean? Like, don't dwell and go and deep and, make him sit in that rot, give him the information as sweetly and kindly as you can. Tell him you're just saying it for his consideration and move on. Not an easy position to be in, but I think I think you're obligated to save those children. Again, shalom bayis is more important than chinuch. We know that from many sources. So if you think it's going to backfire or it's not going to work or it's going to be a total fail and make your relationship worse with your husband, then you can't do any of this and you just have to sit and take it and let him be mean to his kids. But if you can try some of these things and you think they have some potential of working, I think you need to try if you think it's going to be successful. Rebuke that's not heard, you are not allowed to do. So you know better than I do. Good luck with it. Good luck with analyzing it. Good luck with planning it. Good luck with executing it if that's what is the right thing to do. And Hashem should bench you in your desire for closeness and shalom in your home, that Hashem should help you and make it go well.
I mean, I feel like that's a stone off her shoulder because it's probably been sitting on her heart for a while. So to get the thumbs up to actually discuss this,
Yeah, Meretz
would mean a
Hashem.
lot to
Meretz
her.
Hashem. Yeah, please God.
Okay. Alana's asking, I'm so much more academic than my husband. It didn't used to bother me, but recently has been bothering me so much that I find I'm losing respect for him. I know this is harmful, but I don't know how to change my mindset.
If being academically smart is the be all and end all, then I could see you looking down on him. But that's like an eye, to have an eye in tow on somebody would be to see, yeah, it's not academic smart, but boy, what a soft heart he has, and what a mensch he is, and how kind he is, and wow, he's very clever with the areas he knows, and he's street smart. All these other things, like in other words, you're taking somebody who's got 150 crucial points in there of what's they're about and taking one and saying he's not good in that one, so let's throw him out the window. This is not how it works. He's got these other 149 things, and that's where your eye should be. And we're obligated, to look at somebody's good points, to have an eye in tov, and to look at the good points. So this is something you need to analyze within yourself. This is your issue. You need to solve it, because it could tear you apart. The respect is granted, never earned. I'm going to say that again. Respect is granted, never earned, meaning that your husband is a husband is only as great and as strong and as awesome as his wife thinks he is. So if you think he's awesome, he'll be awesome. And if you think he's less than awesome, he'll get lower and lower in your eyes, and lower he gets, the lower you think about him. And it's just this bottomless pit of misery. Your job is to respect him no matter what his actions are, no matter what he does. Your job is to respect him. So what that means is, in this situation, you need to look for all the other 149 things that he is and start doubling down on that and start saying, like anytime you think, oh, my husband's not like, oh, here he said this stupid thing in front of these people and whatever, he doesn't look academic, say, oh, but they have no clue what a beautiful heart he has, how kind he is to the children, how patient he is, how any other quality, and just keep focusing on that in your mind. And that's our job. That's not like, oh, that's a lovely idea. Oh, interesting idea. No, that's our avoda. That's our job, is to have an eye and toe for all people, but particularly for our husband, because we're seeing them up close. So good luck with it. But remember, this is I hate to say this is your problem, not his, but it's if you take it on that way, if you think of it like you're the victim to how the situation is, you lose all your power. Whereas if you realize, okay, I have a choice here, and you make the choice to focus on his other good qualities, you're going to see a whole lightning change in your own emotions towards him, your feelings toward him. I had a woman whose husband actually, got disfigured in their, they married a couple of decades, I think, and he got disfigured, and she couldn't get past it, he whatever, some kind of whatever, and she began to really, really focus on his mind-boggling way of handling it. Like she herself, if that had happened to her, would just like bury himself at home, but he just like, this is okay, this is what Hashem wanted, this is what happened, whatever. And so she started focusing and focusing and focusing on what how big he was, what a huge human being he was in the face of that. And the scar disappeared in her eyes. So this is work that can be done. It's sometimes hard, but your husband didn't give you this challenge. Hashem did. So you have to think, Hashem never gives us challenges he doesn't think we can overcome. And I've just given you the step-by-step instruction on how to get on the other side of it. And I wish you good luck. Hashem should bench you with success in it. Very good. Thank you for bringing the thing. I hope I didn't make you feel bad in any way, but I wanted to give you the strength that there is always something a wife can do.
I
Okay.
love that. And I love that she can feel empowered that it is in her hands. Because sometimes when it's just the husband and you tell them, oh, this is just your test in life, you feel so helpless. But this is like, hey,
You
you
can
can
do
change your
something.
perspective.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
Okay, so Leona is, this is the last question that we have time for. Leona is asking, I'm a words of affirmation type of gal, and after a squabble with my husband, I do need to hear an apology. The more detailed, the better. However, his way of an apology is to help out more or be more friendly. It just doesn't hit the spot for me. I explained this to him and he said he'll try to work on it, but it's been a while and don't know if he needs a reminder or what to do.
Fine. For sure, he needs a reminder. By the way, a man, he will not get this, not ever for your entire life. I'm going to say that again. He will not get this your entire life. So what for this,
What won't he get?
he won't be able to like now suddenly be able to apologize in a way that's going to make her happy. He'll never learn it. It's a woman's thing, and she has, excuse me, very specific needs. He maybe get better at it, but he's not going to explain. I have a whole chapter on getting your needs met, getting your appreciation you need. And that's what I suggest for you, because this is definitely one for the for the ventriloquist tactic, that whatever chapter it is on getting the appreciation you need. And the ventriloquist would be, you make dinner and your husband says, "Oh, nice dinner, dear," and you're like, excuse me, I like went to 4 shops. I got the shrug, I got the, special spices. I turned, I had to flip that thing over 4 times in the oven to make sure that it was done crispy on the outside or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, nice dinner, dear. No, what you need to hear is, so here's the ventriloquist. You would say to your husband, you'd say, by the way, husbands love this. You would say, you'd say, how was dinner? And he's like, oh, good, good. You're like, no, no, that's not the answer I want to hear. I want to hear, there, how crispy that chicken was. It was so good. Yeah, you could tell you flipped it and flipped it. And, and the shrimp that you put in the thing and the salad and the rice. Oh my gosh, it was delicious. And I realized you did that on this week when you had all the reports to give back for the kids and you did all the grading. You got it in on time. And still, you had time to prepare the Shabbos meal. You are the best wife ever. And the husband goes, yeah, that's what I meant to say. And you smile and he smiles. This sounds totally hokey, totally ridiculous, totally pathetic. And it's funny because when I started to put this into Marriage Secrets, right? So the senior editor at Art Scroll says, Leah, do you realize this sounds so hokey and so corny and ridiculous, whatever? And I sent her 3 letters of women who had said, when I first heard this, I thought it was hokey and corny and ridiculous. And here's my story. I went and I told her, and I sent her those 3 letters, and she goes, oh, well, I guess it works for some women. Okay, put it in the book. Keep it in the book. Yeah, I had a fight with her about it because that's how hokey it is. But you can't even believe how good it feels to both. To the wife, it feels so good because she hears exactly what she wants to hear. And to the husband, he's like, oh, I'm off the hook. Like, that did it? Like, wow, like that. So here's the thing. Try this at home. Try, there's the ventriloquist, and I'll give you one more. There's 6, but I'll give you the one more is just saying, he says, oh, good dinner. And like, didn't you love the soup also? Or like that. So you can also suggest things to your husband just to say yes. Is it true that if your husband, you walk in, you got a new dress, and your husband sees you, say, you look fabulous in that dress. You're so skinny. Wow, I didn't realize you look great. Well, that's an A+++ compliment. Okay. Is that as good as you saying, don't I look great in this new dress? Yes. That's a B. Maybe it's a B+. Maybe it's a B-, but it's in the B category. But here's the thing, ladies, you're getting Bs all day, all week, all month long, rather than waiting once a year to get an A++ compliment. I know it may not, for those of you who have never heard me say this before, it might be like, okay, I can't see how that could possibly feel good. Try it one time. And then write me an email and say, info@ladiestalkshow.com, and write me an email and say, Leah, I can't believe it felt so good. He said exactly what I wanted to say. Why? Because I said it, and he said yes. So try this at home. Okay, homework. One time this week, get yourself appreciated in one way or another, either with a ventriloquist method or by just let it in. Let it in, ladies. I give you permission. Women walk around with an empty appreciation bucket. Okay, they don't even know they have one. It's empty, and they're in like this groggy mood, and it's because their appreciation bucket is empty. Get it filled one time this week. And if you need, I have a lot more shows, ladies talk shows, on getting the appreciation you need. So if this wasn't enough of a tutorial, either go to chapter whatever in the Marriage Secrets that explains it, or ladies talk show, or other shows on whole shows on getting the appreciation that you need. Okay, it's Leah Rich. Time for the ladies talk show. We'll see you.